Hi, we're outside the Royal Pavilion at Stoneleigh Park to talk to David Hyde, who's the organiser of the National Funeral Exhibition. So David, we've been looking at your website. It's obviously a major event. How do you see this on the world stage?
Well, probably now we'd see ourselves in the top 4 exhibitions in the world. There's a very major exhibition in America, there's 2 or 3 major ones in Europe, we've been to all of them, and I'd say certainly, and a lot of other people would say yes, it's certainly within the top 4.
And how long has the exhibition been established?
We established the National Funeral Exhibition in 2007. Before that, there have been other exhibitions running under different names and different guises, but the pace of the industry in this country has moved to a stage where the variety of products is changing all the time. There'll be a lot more products or different products in 2011 this year as there were in 2009. We've probably got 30 new companies who are coming in with brand new product. And this is all driven by the client who's looking for different ways to celebrate the person's life. And that's really what it's all about. A lot of people now talk about the celebration of life as opposed to a funeral. I mean, when you think about it, although all death is very, very depressing, but the majority of people live through a very good lifespan. And we need to reflect that in the funeral itself, in the celebration. And people have all sorts of ways of doing that, flying balloons up in the air, as I did with a friend of mine only a couple of years ago, all his old sayings, and we flew all these in the air at the end of the day. Saying about that, we've actually got something called Donovan's Bar at the exhibition, which is in memory of a friend who was very closely associated with the show.
So what kind of products are displayed at a funeral exhibition? Is it just coffins?
Well, there's certainly lots of coffins, but there's a massive variety of different products. In coffins themselves, you've now got, rather than just a basic wood, you've got the willow coffins, you've got cardboard coffins, you've got the big American caskets, which don't only suit people from America. I mean, for example, the Irish market like a big, heavy casket. The ethnic groups love a big, heavy casket. So when you go to the show, and you'll see it yourself, you'll walk around and you won't believe just how many different varieties there are. But on top of that, now we've got something like a 76% cremation rate. I believe it's around that sort of figure anyway. That the market for urns is now much bigger than it was. If you think back to Victorian times when cremations first began, people used to put an urn on their mantelpiece. Well, people aren't quite so sure about that these days, but a lot of the urns actually don't look like an urn. They look more like a sculpture, and we see some beautiful products. Ashes can be put into sculptures in the garden. Ashes can be fitted into picture frames. People can have what they call keepsake urns. So you might have one urn with ashes in. You might have another 6 little urns to hand round for the family. Beautiful little mementos. If you go back to the old Victorian days of having some hair in the locket, these days you can even have the fingerprint of the deceased. Now you might think it's strange, and some people might think it's strange. But if it suits, if it's a way of helping someone to remember and get over their grief, then absolutely fine. You get websites, memorial websites, where people can put their own feelings about the person who's died on there. There's a lot of companies doing that, which you'll see at the show. Memorial stationery, books of remembrance, books of condolence, and so on. And all these are products that the funeral director has the opportunity to see. He can look how it's changed. He can look at the new exhibitors who are coming to the show. New exhibitors are something we really work on, because new product is something very special to any exhibition. And we've created an area called our innovations area for first-time exhibitors, maybe very small stands, but fabulous new products. I've been amazed at the kind of things that are coming to us.
Now, the exhibition obviously deals with a very serious subject. Does that mean it has a solemn atmosphere?
Well, you know, when I first got involved in this, and I've run exhibitions in all sorts of different fields, and when I started negotiating about running this show, I thought exactly the same. Was it going to be a very solemn affair? The first funeral show I went to, I realised that funeral shows don't have to be solemn. It's a very, very serious subject, but the people who are coming there have been dealing with very difficult situations probably for every day in the previous week. Virtually every day of the year they're dealing with people who are sad and have just lost a loved one. So when they come to the show, they want to enjoy themselves, they want to see the new product, they want to see their friends, but they want to have a good time.
So what theme is it?
Believe it or not, it's the good old-fashioned British holiday. We've got the seaside, we have got rock, we've got ice creams. On the Sunday, we are actually recreating a beach outside the hall for kids. Now, there's a lot of funeral directors who have young children, and you know it's difficult for them to find babysitters or whatever to come to the show. We tell them, come to the show. The kids can enjoy themselves outside while they go in and meet their friends and do the business. We've got Punch and Judy. We've got, I think, six donkeys for donkey rides, and the kids will also be asked to make a sandcastle in our sandcastle competition.
So finally, David, are there any special activities or events that you've got planned for this year's show?
Yes, we have a couple of special events. One for our overseas visitors and exhibitors. It's an overseas garden party, which happens straight after on Friday night, with a beautiful string quartet. We used them last year and they're fabulous, and we know the overseas people are going to enjoy that, especially just after the royal wedding. We're sort of theming it around a royal garden party. But our other event, which happens on Saturday night, and each year we do a different event, this year it's Hyde night. We've actually bought the costumes, which were used in a show. We've all got the yellow outfits, we've got a fabulous band. We can't actually promise Gladys Pugh, but I think people are going to enjoy themselves. They start off by getting into a big old-fashioned London bus, and we drive them off to our own special holiday camp. And nobody knows where it is yet, but they'll find out on the night.
So how do people register to visit this year's show?
Well, first of all, we have to make it absolutely clear it's a trade-only exhibition, and only people within the trade can visit the show. But if you're in the trade, you just go to our website, www.nationalfuneralexhibition.co.uk, and click on register, and there you are. You fill in the details, and we'll forward you the badges within a couple of weeks before the exhibition.
Thank you, David.
Thank you very much indeed.